like, oh crap, that is my water that is breaking right now. This cannot be my life. Like, hey guys, what's up? It is Caleb. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to discuss my labor and delivery story. Finally, it's been 10.5 weeks since I've had my little nugget Grayson. Before we get into this video, I just want to go ahead and say, make sure you guys follow my blog at calebmcafee.com. There I write a lot. I'm more active on my blog. I try to post like multiple times a week. And I just post like a wide array of things. And then also make sure to follow me on all my socials at Caleb_McAfee. That's my Instagram and Twitter. And then KMacTheG on Snapchat. And Snapchat is definitely where, if you want to keep up with me and Grayson, that's like the best way to do so, because like I post pictures of her constantly. So yeah, but to get into the story, so Grayson was born July 28th at 12:36 p.m. I want to say. She weighed 5 pounds and 12 ounces. It's been quite a while, so yeah, hopefully I can get this video done. But anyway, so she weighed 5 pounds and 12 ounces. I don't really quite remember how long she was, like her height, but yeah. So I was 37 weeks and 5 days when I went into labor, or 37 weeks and 6 days when I went into labor. My labor was a little bit hectic. Not like, I actually had a really smooth like birthing, but the actual process of like getting myself to the hospital and getting people there with me was sort of hectic. So let's rewind. So it was like Thursday, and I had started taking, on Wednesday night, I started taking these primrose oil pills. They came in little capsules. I got them at Target for like $5. They're little capsules, and I took 2 orally and then inserted 2. You can figure out where I inserted them. I started doing those Wednesday night because I heard that like helps prevent tearing, and I was really trying to do a natural birth, so I did those like because I knew I was moving on Saturday. My due date was August 12th, and you're actually supposed to start them at 34 weeks according to my midwife. But I didn't start them because I was like scared. I didn't want to, like, I was scared because I didn't want to go into labor early. My water was broken when I got to the hospital, but my cervix wasn't dilated at all. So I'm not sure if that actually played a part or not, but whatever. So I did those, and so I was so mad because I had just fallen asleep, and I was like, because I was like, you know, so big and I couldn't like get comfortable. So I finally fell asleep, and then maybe like 2 hours later I wake up and I just have this like urge to poop. I don't know how else to describe it, but I just felt like I really had to poop, like really bad, and I was just like, what the heck, like why do I feel like this? So I get up, and I was like really irritated. So I get up, like, well, struggle to get out of bed, and I go to the bathroom, and I'm like, but nothing happened. And then when I stood up, I felt like a gush, like a little teeny tiny gush, and it was kind of pink. And at this point I was wearing panty liners anyway, so I was just like, I saw it in the panty liner, and I was just like, I don't think that's normal. I don't want to know what it is. I'm not going to freak out because like it's not what I think it is, so I'm just going to go back to bed. So I like go back to bed, and I'm just like laying there, and I could just like, I don't know, I just had this feeling like I really think I'm in labor, but I'm not. Like I was trying to tell myself like I'm not in labor. So then I lay there for like 5 minutes, and I just could not get comfortable because I had like cramps, and it felt like I just had to poop again really bad. And I was just like, what the heck, like why do I feel like this? Like I don't understand what's going on. So I go back to the bathroom, and I'm like, all right, something's like, Caleb, you might just be constipated, you're pregnant, whatever. So I try to use the bathroom again, and nothing happens. And this time, like while I'm using the toilet, like I hear like a gush like go down into the toilet, and I was just like, I didn't feel pee come out, so what is that? Okay. And I look, and it kind of has a pinkish tint, and I was just like, oh crap. And I was like, okay, Caleb, you're not, like, this is not your water, like don't freak out, you're okay. Then I stand up, and this time when I stand up, it's definitely like a bigger gush, and I feel it, and I'm just like, oh crap, that is my water that is breaking right now. This cannot be my life. Like I literally have Friday and Saturday, and then I'm supposed to move. It is Thursday night. I'm down here by myself. What am I supposed to do? So what do? I kind of panic. I call my sister, and I'm like, Ananda, I think I'm in labor. my water just broke, I don't know what to do. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? And I called her first just because Ananda, like I said in my like finding out I was pregnant video or whatever, she's just kind of like my calm person. Like I just feel like I can call her and she's not going to freak out, like compared to if I called my mom or somebody else, like they would have just had like a whole panic attack. So I was just like, I'm gonna call Nanda, she's gonna keep me calm. Like I know if I call anybody else, they're just gonna like flip. So Nanda's just like, she didn't say calm though, like she kind of was like flipping, because I called her because I knew she was going to be up because she was supposed to be going to Puerto Rico. Her flight was at like 5 that morning, and at this point it's like 2 o'clock. So I spent like 30 minutes just trying to convince myself that my water wasn't broken. But anyway, so I call her and she's just like yelling at me on the phone, like telling me I need to go to the hospital and telling me I need to call my mom, because the whole time I'm just sitting there like freaking out, like I can't have this baby down here, like I'm not going to the hospital because I'm not having the baby down here, like no. And then I'm like, I don't know who to call, like am I supposed to call Kishana, am I supposed to call Steven, Kishana be my friend, Steven be my child's father. And she's just like, Caleb, you need to call somebody, you need to go to the hospital, like you can't just be like with your water broken, like walking around like nothing's wrong. So like my house is basically empty, there's just like piles of stuff everywhere. So I like, as I'm talking to Ananda on the phone, I'm like walking around my house like all through the living room because I have no furniture, just like doing a circle. Like I pick up one thing, I move it, then I pick it back up, move it back over here. I'm like going upstairs trying to tidy up, but really I was just like, I don't even know what I was doing. I was just trying to like calm my nerves. So like as I'm talking to Nanda, like I hang up on her and I try to call my mom, and my mom doesn't answer the phone. So I'm just like, what the heck? Then I call my dad, and my dad picks up, and I'm like, Dad, I think I'm in labor, I think my water just broke. And as I'm saying that, I'm like sitting in front of my mirror that's like in front of my bed. I was sitting in my bed, and as soon as I said I think my water broke, I'm not sure, and I stand up and like I just see a gush of like water, more water just fall to the ground. And I was just like, nope, yep, my water just broke, I'm in labor. And he's just like, okay, I'm on my way. And so mind you, like they live 4 hours away almost, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. So he gets up like and is like heading down or whatever to come save me basically. So then I call my sister back, and she had been trying to call my mom as well, but my mom wasn't answering. So she calls me back, and she's just like, okay, so you call Dad, like you call mom, now what are you gonna do? Like how are you going to get to the hospital? And I was just like, I don't know. And so she was getting so frustrated with me because like she's sitting there trying to get me to get to the hospital, but the whole time I'm on the phone I'm like, I need something to wear. I can't go to the hospital in my pajamas. Like I had these weird little shorts on and like this weird shirt, and I didn't match. And me, I was just like, I can't find my black leggings. And she's like, Caleb, are you really worried about black leggings right now? Is that what you're seriously looking for? And I'm all like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Like I can't go to the hospital like this. So I'm like freaking out because I can't find clothes to wear to the hospital. And then I was also getting so frustrated because like I couldn't, because like my water was breaking, and I kept putting pads in, but like the pads were filling up within like seconds. So it was like I kept having to change my underwear. And so it's so embarrassing too, because when my family came to like move me, I had changed my underwear so many times that like I just kept taking them off, so they were like all over my room. So my family saw like all of my underwear all over my room and had to pick them up. So embarrassing. Anyway, but so I like finally find a pair of black leggings. So she finally like convinces me, because I'm like, okay, so I need somebody to take me to the hospital. And I was like, well, I can call Kishana. Kishana will definitely come and take me to the hospital, but I don't want to be like, we're best friends, but I don't want my best friend to see me like pushing out my child. Like that's not the kind of friendship like I want with someone. Like that's just a lot. So I was just like, okay, let me call my child's father. I really didn't think he was going to answer the phone, but I still called him anyway. And at this point, again, it's like 2:30, 2:45-ish. So I tried to call him. I called him like 8 times, and then he didn't answer. So then like I called my sister back, and I'm like, he didn't pick up the phone. Like I knew he wouldn't, like blah, 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 blah. And so she's like, okay, well, call Kishana, like get Kishana to call, like to take you to the hospital. And at this point, like I pick up the phone, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I was really calm, but like really anxious at the same time. Like I was so nervous and scared that I was just like really just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like, it was a really weird vibe. But as soon as I called Kishana and I heard her pick up the phone, I just started bawling. Like I was just like, oh my god, I'm in labor. I was like, can you please come take me to the hospital? And like, I'm crying, and she's like, you have to calm down. And I'm just like, nobody's picking up the phone. I'm in labor. I'm down here by myself. I was really upset because it was raining. Like, and I was like, my daughter would choose to come on a rainy night. Like, my dad's having to drive and it's raining and it's like super late, whatever. So I was just like really emotional, but she luckily came within like 5 minutes. She lives like 10-15 minutes away, but she got there in 5. So shout out to Kishana. She got me to the hospital safely or whatever, and it was just funny because on the ride there, she was just like, I was just calm. Like, she gets to my door and she's like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm just like, yep, I'm in labor. Like, let's go to the hospital. And again, like, I'm laughing and smiling because that's just what I do when I get like really scared or nervous. I just start like laughing. So I was just kind of laughing, and we got to the hospital, and I just kind of like, we got to the door and I just looked at her and I was like, Kishana, what am I supposed to tell them? And she looks at me like, Caleb, what do you mean, what are you supposed to tell them? You tell them you're in labor. But like, again, I'm just awkward. So like, we get up to the front desk and she just like points at me. She's like, she's in labor. And it was just so awkward, and they were just like, oh, okay. And the hospital was kind of difficult because at that hospital you were supposed to like fill out paperwork and everything before you go, but I had just literally like 2 weeks prior switched over care. Anyway, so I get to the room or whatever, and they get me all checked in. They're still asking me a bunch of questions. It was just kind of weird. And Keyshawn is there, and then the lady, like the nurse, hands me a robe, and she's like, here goes this, like, undress, like take everything off and put this on. And I just looked at her and I was like, you want me to get completely naked? And she just was like, yeah. And I was just so confused because no one prepared me for labor. Like, I took all the birthing classes and stuff, and nobody told me you had to get completely nude when you go into labor. Like, I thought like I would get to wear my clothes until it was time to push, and that's when I get naked. But I only thought I would have to get naked like waist down. I thought I would be able to wear a bra, but no, I had to get completely naked and wear this nightgown, so my butt was all out and Keyshawn saw my butt. Yeah, awkward again. So by this point, you know, I'm in the bed answering some more questions, and then my child's father calls me back after we're getting off, and he's just like, I think he, like, you could tell that he already knew what was up, because why else am I calling him like 8 times at like 2:30 in the morning? He's just like, hey, what's up? And I was just like, I'm in labor, I'm at the hospital. And he's just like, you're at the hospital? And I was just like, yeah, Stephen, the hospital where you have babies. Because he like said the word hospital like he had never ever heard that word in his entire life. But luckily he was just like, well, do you want me to come? And I was just like, duh, I want you to come. Like, what do you mean, like, get here like ASAP or whatever. My child's father gets there, Kishana leaves, and at this point it's probably like 3:30. And being that my water was broken and not, my cervix wasn't dilated, they were like, okay, you have 24 hours to like try to deliver this baby like naturally, or we have to get a C-section or whatever. So I was just like, please, Grayson, come out on time. Like, I don't want a C-section. So basically from the time my child's father got there till like 6:30, it was just him and I, and he was actually really supportive. It just sucked because like we did all of these, like we went to like, I think it was like a 6-week course of like birthing classes that we went to for like 2 hours, like once a week for 6, whatever, it makes sense. So we did that, and we didn't get to utilize any of it at all. Like, I mean, he definitely helped. Like, there was one position where he was like pushing on my hips and like grabbing my back that felt really great, because I was having a lot of back labor. And so from like 2 to like 6:30, it was just him and I could, like, was stuck in the bed basically. So they had like, because they wanted to make sure the baby was okay, so they had me strapped to like the fetal monitor, and I could not move. So every single time I had a contraction, like, I could not move. And at this point too, I was just trying to do natural, but they had to give me Pitocin. So like my contractions went from like not feeling anything at all to like all of a sudden it was just like, holy crap, what is this? So we were like, we both were like exhausted. He said he had just fallen asleep too. Like, he went to bed really late, and I like went to bed too really late. And we both preferred like me to do a natural labor. I told him in the birthing class, like, do not let me get an epidural, do not let me get any pain medicine. I was like, if I like tell you I want one, if I tell the doctors like tell me no, make me wait at least 15 minutes and see if I still feel the same. So I had said like earlier, like, I don't think I can do this, and he was like, no, you got it, like, you're not going to get an epidural. And I was just like, cool. And then like it came to the point, the doctor, like the nurse came back in, and it had been hours. It felt like it was like at least 4 or 5 hours, and she checked my cervix and she was like, yeah, you've only dilated 2 centimeters and you have to at least go to 10. And I was just like, what? No, 2 centimeters. And at this point, like, the contractions felt like they were coming like every 2 seconds. Like, I would lay down, because after a while I was just like, I cannot lay in this bed, like I'm getting up. And like, I have a big belly, so Steven's just there, and I'm like, every time I have a contraction I'd be like, help me up, help me up, help me up. So I sit there, we go through the contraction, I lay back down. 2 seconds later I'm like, help me up, help me up, help me up. And we were doing that, and he like rubbed my back for like 2 hours straight. Like, I feel really bad, but it was just like, you know what, you did this to me, you get it at my back, I don't care. But yeah, so I was sitting on the birthing ball, and she was just like, okay, so what do you want to do about pain medication? Because when she told me 2 centimeters, I was like, I can't do this, I don't want a baby anymore, like I can't do it, I can't do it. So she just kind of sat there, and she was like, okay, what do you want? And then she was like, well, typically we make people wait until they get to 4 centimeters to get an epidural, but like, you know, you're in a lot of pain and you've been like in labor for quite a while now, so whatever. So she was like, okay, like I'm gonna go tell the anesthesiologist that you want one, and he'll be back here at like, she said like 45 minutes or 30 minutes, right? So like I'm sitting there, so like I'm sitting there, and I was like lit, because, you know, I was like, told Steven, like I felt bad for getting epidural, so I was like trying to like make it sound good. Like I was telling him like, yeah, like if I get an epidural, that means we both can take a nap, because at this point I'm exhausted. Like it was like every contraction was taking so much energy, and like it was just so tiring. Like I was just like physically, mentally, emotionally just exhausted, like whatever. And he was just like, he was exhausted too, and he was just, we joked afterwards and was just like, that epidural wasn't just for me, it was for him too, because we both don't think we would have made it through that whole labor process without the epidural, because it was just a lot. Anyway, so we're like sitting there, but since I was getting epidural, I was just like, okay, lit, I can make it 30 minutes with these contractions, I got it. Like I start laughing a little bit more or whatever. And so it gets to like 30 minutes, like 40 minutes, and I was just looked at him and I was like, Steven, where is the lady? Like go find them or whatever. And he's just like trying to tell me to calm down, like just wait a little bit, it's really late, it's like, you know, almost 5 a.m. So he's just like, wait a minute, like they're gonna be here. And like it got to the point where it hit 45 minutes, and I was like, Steven, go out there and find those people, ask them where this like anesthesiologist is, I need my epidural now. And as soon as he gets up to like go open the door, they're like coming in. And so yeah, the epidural actually wasn't bad. I know a lot of people say that it's like really painful and stuff, but it really wasn't. I don't know if it's just because I wanted it so badly, because I was already in so much pain that like the pain, the needle, nothing fazed me. And the anesthesiologist also did a really good job at hiding the needle from me and Steven, so he didn't see it, I didn't see it. The only problem is like the guy was kind of weird, and so I didn't know, like, okay, so he's like, okay, basically they told me like to sit still, and if you move, like they won't give it to you if you move too many times or jump too many times. So I was really scared, like, okay, like don't move. So he has his needle, and he's just like, okay, well I'm about to put this in, but then he just like randomly pokes me in my back. So I'm like, oh, like what the fuck, what the heck, oops. And he's just like, okay, well I just poked you, like I'm gonna do it again. And so like he did it again, but like, so I was just like, oh, like what the heck. And the nurse was like, okay, he was trying to stick you with the needle, like you have to sit still. And I was just like, can you count or something, like, because I don't know what you're doing, like you're just sticking my back with this needle randomly, and I'm not prepared for it, like whatever. And the whole time too, as he's like trying to stick me with the needle, I was like praying. I was like, Grayson, please don't have a contraction. Grayson, please don't have a contraction. Like, be a good baby, be a good baby. And she was a good baby. I didn't have a contraction until right in the end. But I swear to you, as soon as the epidural had got into me, I was just lit. I was laying there, like put my bed back. I was just living my best life, like whatever. And it was just funny because soon, like right after I got the epidural, like my dad walked into the room, and because he finally made it, and he walked in and he was like, oh wow, you don't look like you've been in labor at all. And Steven just looked at him, and I was like, yeah, I just had an epidural. Like I was lit, like I was just like laughing, smiling, living my best life. And Steven supposedly had told my family like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in so much pain in my life, because like he was telling me too that like I just basically look like a completely different person when the contractions hit. He was like, your eyes are rolling in the back of your head, like it was just kind of scary, and like it was just a lot. So I got the epidural, and then basically from there they were like happy that I got one, because that meant that I could they could up my Pitocin, so they could further induce me so that I could like expand, I don't know, dilate, that's the word, dilate more. So that I could like hurry up the process to have the baby, because again, my camera just cut off for some reason. So mind you, we were on like a strict thing, so we had to have the baby out in like 24 hours. So they upped my Pitocin or whatever, and so whatever, and it comes to like 12 o'clock, and like Steven's family had actually come. They were like going on vacation, but they turned around basically, kind of, sort of, I don't know. As soon as they kind of got there, they were like, okay, well, like you're 10 centimeters, because I got to 9. They took me off the Pitocin because the baby started, was in distress, like she was stressed out or something in there. So they were like, okay, we're gonna let you just go naturally, like, you know, progress naturally from here. And also your legs are so numb that you wouldn't even be able to push anyway. So, they were like, okay, well, you're gonna feel this feeling in your bum, and that basically means it's time to push. And so like it was like an hour that went by, and I was just had this feeling. And then, you know, we had visitors and stuff, so his family, my family, like, well, my dad and his friend were there. And so like they were all just talking, and I'm just laying in the bed like, I think it's time to push, but I'm awkward, so I was just like do just like waiting. And then I finally looked at Steven. I was like, okay, can you go get the nurse, like I think it's time. And so he went and found her, and they checked, and like, yeah, it's time to push. So from there it was just like really awkward. I kind of regret like a little bit. I wish I would have just had Steven and I in the room and not anyone else, but I had my dad, Steven, his friend in the room or whatever. So my dad and Steven end up like holding my legs. Awkward. And then my dad's friend was there to take pictures, but I really wanted like pictures of like the whole process for me and my daughter to look back on. So the whole pushing process was like extremely awkward, because Steve and I don't watch TV, so we never turned the TV on in the room. We didn't have any music playing or anything, so it was just like really quiet, and I just feel really awkward in complete silent spaces. And also like I was super nervous. Like when they told me it was time to push, you could hear my heart rate on the monitor like go up. Like my heart was just like pounding, like boom 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 boom. And they were like, you have to calm down. I was shaking. Like I was looking at Steven, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I'm scared. Like once she's out, like she's here, like everything that we've been doing for the past 9 months, all the stupid stuff, like is done. Like we're gonna have a kid. Like it's not just a joke anymore, it's real life. So it was just like really scary and really emotional. And it was also bad too, because like the nurse that we had prior, she was just like, she just looked at me, and she was just like, I feel bad for both of you. She's like, you both look really nervous. And I was just like, thanks. And I didn't realize until afterwards how nervous and scared Steven looked, until now that I look back at pictures, and I'm just like, holy cow, like you were scared, like more scared than I was. Like he just had this look on his face, but I think we both did, because I was just shaking and he was just like, I don't know what to do. So yeah, and as I'm pushing, like of course I stopped having contractions as soon as it stops push, like it's time to push. I didn't know you could only push when you've had contractions. That's something I did not know. Anyway, so like my dad and Steven both have my legs up, and you know everything's just out down there. Then my dad's friend is just like in the background, and all you can hear is like my camera clicking, like click click click, like. And then the nurse lady, doctor lady who's delivering me, like delivering my delivering doctor, I don't know what she's called. Anyway, she's just sitting down there like rubbing oil and stuff, like, and everybody's just like awkwardly there, and like I wasn't in pain, so I couldn't feel anything. So I'm just laying there like do 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 da da da. Like what the heck am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? Like everything is out right now. This is so unladylike. I don't know these people in this room. My dad's seeing it. This guy right here is seeing it. Like what the heck? Just really awkward and really embarrassing. And then so I'm pushing, and then once the baby starts crowning or whatever, she was like, do you want to touch it? And I was just looked at her and I was like, no, I don't want to touch it. Like who actually wants to touch their baby's head coming out? Like that's so gross. Like I mean, I'm sorry if you like to do that, or if you did that to me. I was just like, heck no, I want no parts. Like just, you know, you got it, doctor, hold it down there, like no parts. So anyway, so I push her out. It's like 12:36, like most amazing magical feeling ever. Like they just like threw her on me, but like when they threw her on me, she was up here, so like I honestly didn't see her face for like 2 hours, because like I was holding her like because they do skin to skin at the hospital that I was at, luckily, but I forget what she was like, either her blood sugar was low or something at that point, so they made me hold her an extra hour. But she was just like really white and like she smelled weird, but she was just screaming. Like I thought I did something wrong. I was like, wow, I already suck at this mom thing, because she literally screamed like the whole first hour. There was nothing that I could do to like calm her down. I didn't know what to do to calm her down, and I'm just sitting there like, what the heck? And I was just like, what am I doing wrong? Like just patting her butt, and she was just like so slimy, and it was just like, I don't even know, I just cried. Like I cried a lot. Like it was just instant tears, like when I held her, like just like waterfall like of just tears. It was great. It was great. She was so tiny, like so tiny. She was just little teeny tiny baby, like, oh, my little nugget. I'm getting sad. But anyway, so yeah, that happened. And then this day at the hospital overall was just very like surreal to me. You know, I breastfed while I was there, and she had problems with her blood sugar because one, the room was like freezing cold, and they didn't fix that until like the almost time to leave. She didn't have a name until like the night before we were supposed to get discharged from the hospital. So yeah, we had no idea what to name her. But for me, honestly, it was just like the whole labor and delivery. Like I said, I cried a lot when I held her, but everything was just like a fairy tale. Like I felt like everything was really unreal. Like I just kind of felt like I went into like robot mode, and I feel like I stayed in robot mode for the first couple weeks of her being home. Like I knew I loved her, and I knew like I connected with her to a certain extent, but it wasn't like when we were at the hospital, I didn't really hold her a lot. Like, you know, she was sleeping, like I let her sleep in her crib thing. Steven held her a little bit, but most of the time, like I think we both were just so like, what the heck is just happened kind of deal. Like she kind of like, neither one of us like held her like far too much. So it was just like a lot of feelings and emotions involved in it all, and on top of it I was moving, so it was just a lot of emotions, and I'm still dealing with it. Like I mean, I had two major things. Like I basically, the day we got discharged, like 2 hours later, I was moving from a place that I had lived for 5 years almost. So it's really surreal and really emotional, and it still makes me sad to think about, because like just due to everything that we were going through and everything that I was going through, I just like feel like I missed out so much on the first couple weeks of her life, just because I was in robot mode. Like I was just like, okay, I just didn't want to deal with everything that I was going through. So I just was like, I didn't want to deal with postpartum, so I just kind of stayed like with, okay, she needs to eat. You know, I cuddled her, I loved her and stuff, but I don't feel like it really connected that she was mine until like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later. And I just looked at her one morning. Like I woke up one morning and I just looked at her and I just cried for like an hour just staring at her, and I was just like, wow, you really are mine. And like I realized how much of a blessing she was to me. I didn't know how much I really needed to be a mom until now, and I'm just like, this is the best job of my entire life. Like why didn't I become a mom sooner? Like I really feel like I was made to be a mother. And just seeing her grow and get so big, and even talking about this and thinking about how little and cute she was, like I'm just like, oh my god, like I just love you. Like it's just a love that like you have never ever experienced. Like you might think that you love somebody until you have your own kid, and you're just like, wow, I freaking love you. And I'm not even sure if love is like the word to fully describe how I feel about that little girl. Like she's literally my life. Like I just think she's the cutest little thing, and she just makes me so happy. And I just like love waking up to her every morning, and like, you know, I just look at her and I'm just like, oh my god, I just like love you. Like I just want to squeeze her and just, she's just so great. Being a mom is great. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. It was pretty smooth. For me, everything has just been really smooth. It was just more of an emotional, I feel like the universe and my child knew that I was dealing with a lot, so they were just like, here, we're gonna make everything like physically easy for you, because you are dealing with a lot emotionally. So yep, there goes that. Now she is 10.5 weeks. She's almost probably like 12 pounds now. She's smiling and giggling and stuff. So yeah, that's that. But thank you guys for watching. I know this is a longer video, but whatever. I probably repeated a lot, but whatever. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date